Hello and welcome to Here's the Horn, a Wheel of Time podcast. I am Sir Matt.
And I am Sir Ezra, and friends, we are back with the season finale. And I don't know what to say.
Um, I don't know how I feel about the season finale of this show.
Yeah, it's
If
interesting.
in all honesty, I kind of didn't like it. Not
It's
gonna lie.
different. It's different. It is just different. I don't know how to explain it. It's not necessarily what I thought it was going to be for sure. I thought Rand was going to have that big epic channel moment against the Trollocs, and they kind of shifted that to the female channelers. So it was different. It had its good moments. I liked that we got the dark one, air quote, showing up and showing him a life that could be. Joya, some references there. Moraine is stilled. I someone stop the stilling.
Loyal gets stabbed.
Is Loyal dead?
I don't think so.
Did anybody sound the horn of Valir?
No.
Mm, mm-mm.
I will say this, as far as an ending to Eye of the World, this is one where I'm gonna be honest. I'll go ahead and say it, man. The books are better.
Well, yeah, yeah,
This is really the first time where I'm like, okay.
right.
Yeah, I mean, again, so this
Shocking.
will be different
Yeah,
because we'll be talking about the episode and we'll be talking about the season as a whole. And the season as a whole,
solid.
I feel
Loved it.
very good about, and I feel very good about the show going forward. I will, however, say I felt like this episode sort of highlighted, especially for me, a lot of some of the issues that people have been saying this whole season.
Hmm.
And I do generally feel like I did not particularly like this episode. I've
Yeah,
liked all the other ones. I did not particularly like this one. That's not to say there are not cool moments and there's not cool things we can do going forward,
yeah.
but I just the initial taste in my mouth is not something that I overall liked the whole episode, but there are a lot of moments I thought were cool, and there is building blocks for season 2, season 3. Um so overall, season 1 for me, I'll say this, is a success for
Yeah.
me. I just particularly didn't like moments of this episode.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think the whole
And
season. Yeah,
not to interrupt you really quick, a
yeah,
great comment here by Deborah. This needs a second watch. I will definitely need to
I agree.
watch this episode again. Yes.
I agree because I was like, again, there's a lot to track, and if you're a non book reader too, I think a lot of this too was throwing in tidbits here
It's way
for book readers.
I
Book
think
readers want to say, hey, we want all these different things, all these different nods, we want all these references, but sometimes when you do all of those things, it can be a bit much. And they did kind of save a lot of it for this episode. So,
I feel like the episode went I feel
oh,
like the episode went over I feel like it went over my head.
and it might go over the heads of non-book readers.
It's definitely gonna go over the head
Maybe.
of definitely gonna go head of the book. Now, some people are saying here, look, they did not bypass the Great Hunt or the Dragon Reborn or any of these other things. As we talked about,
Yeah.
it's an adaptation. You have to move stuff around. In no way, shape, or form did they bypass. And we've been saying, and actually, even more so right now, my theory that I've been saying for the past like 3 weeks, that they're
Yeah.
blending the Dragon Reborn and the Great
Yes,
Hunt
sir.
into one season is even more confirmed. For me,
Right.
they just 100% confirmed that the next season is books 2 and 3, because all of
Yeah.
book 3 is Rand by himself wandering, away from everyone, and book 2 is the hunt for the horn, and like 10 chapters into the Great Hunt, how does it start? Padan Fain steals the horn. Well, he just stole it.
Right. He
So
did.
to me, it's we're hunting Padan Fain, we're hunting the horn. Rand's off by himself. We've already introduced Sangreal, which is a big point of this episode. So for me,
Mhm.
next season is the Great Hunt Dragon Reborn combo. They're gonna parallel blend them.
Yeah. Hmm. The one thing I thought they did that was good, like Pot on
Yeah.
Fane. So
The
so
horn of
Padon Fane in this episode was good. He showing up with the dark with the Murdraw and the fades and Padon Fane being associated with the dark one. I thought that was
yeah,
cool. And that's a bit but it just we've been waiting all season for that and it kind of hits, you know. It's surround I thought we were going to sound the horn of Valir for a second.
right.
I thought
The horn, by the way, the horn is found at the
yeah.
end of Eye of the World.
Yeah, it is.
And in the first book, they find the horn of Valir. So this it's not we are lined up with the Great Hunt. I'm just seeing some comments in here. People saying that they've already
Right.
found the horn. That is the whole Great Hunt is that we're searching. We're not searching for the horn. We're searching for Padon Fane. We know where the horn is.
Right.
He
Yeah.
has it.
Right. And so it is interesting. It's a different take, right? That Valdara has always had it, and they have kept it secret and safe. Literally, Gandalf told him 2 years ago. So they have the horn. It's in Valdara, and yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, again, yeah. So it's gonna go right with the book where they're really searching for Padon Fane who has the horn, which is season 2. Padon Fane did have the dagger.
yes.
He did have the dagger. Um,
And so
so
people are,
we
are upset because I mean, if he stabs somebody with that dagger, we saw what it did to the girl in the White Tower. I mean, it pretty much blackens you're a goner. I mean, unless there's someone there to heal you.
no, we didn't did I don't think we saw Matt didn't stab somebody at the with the White Tower and the dagger
No,
in the
Padon Fane
season.
does. Padon Fane
Not
does.
in the show.
No, in the books.
I know, but
Yeah.
in the show they haven't shown that
No,
it
they haven't shown that. No, we don't know its
right. So
power or
it
anything.
could be
I mean,
changed.
the other thing is Loyal doesn't. Yeah, I mean, Loyal is stabbed. I mean, the whole thing. I mean, at this point, I'm there are a lot of differences. Loyal is laying there,
Right.
possibly dead. Moraine has been stilled. Nynaeve almost died. Um, Matt is in Tarvalin, I guess. I think.
Yeah. See right here. Here's a great comment. Can someone explain the post credits scene exactly? Because I feel like it's one line in episode 6 where there's and then you just see this group coming. I feel like it should have actually been a post credits scene.
Yeah, and I don't know if people, do like are they good or are they bad? They're channeling. They look
Right.
interesting. It's just an intrigue factor. That's all it is. It's just something to kind of, uh, be
Right.
intriguing. I don't know. There were moments for this episode, like we were like,
Yeah,
all right,
let's talk
let's
about the
go.
good ones. Let's
Yeah,
talk about the yeah.
because Faldara being held, Tarwin's Gap being held was awesome. I even thought it is interesting that the women channel and they link up and the whole thing, you know, goes kind of crazy and they're burning out, but they won the battle essentially there, sort of. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, so stuff I liked. So we got more Nan. We got Nan. I always want to say Nan.
yeah,
I guess we could call him that. What is it, Nynaeve or is it Nan? Right. We
right,
got
yeah,
more Nynaeve, which was good. I thought the way they still sort of kept their relationship rolling, um, was good. We saw Luce Theron, which was cool.
that was cool.
I actually thought the Moraine and Rand conversations in the Blight leading up to it was cool. I
Hmm.
actually think even Rand with, you know, we know it's Balzamon, but they call him the Dark One. I generally thought that was all cool and all happening well. The shock factor, they went for almost too much shock factor in this episode.
Yeah,
Like they had like 5 or 6 really shocking moments, and I think that along with the pacing of this episode, it causes just to be like a bit too much, and then they sort of are trying to like stuff book references in that are going over everyone's heads. Like the moment where Rand falls asleep and he sees Moraine die,
right,
uh,
right.
like that should have been like your sort of one early episode shock factor, and then then they did a bit too much
Yeah.
um after that.
Yeah. So, yeah. Like you said, just balancing all of it. I almost lost track that was Loyal getting stabbed for a second. There was so many, kind of like blow you away moments that I see him laying on the floor getting stabbed. I'm like, what the heck? So anyway, yeah, and also I did like this. We're talking about moments that we enjoyed from this episode. Moraine going all the way to the eye of the world and saying, "Yes, I'm going all the way to die." That she knew that from the
if
get
I
go. That
have
was her
to.
plan. Yeah.
Yeah, I did like that when they showed Lews Therin and they showed the world he lives in and how it's, you know, advanced. I thought that
Oh,
was
that
I
was
thought that
cool.
was
Yes,
I thought that was cool.
absolutely.
Um yeah. So man, it's just a lot. There's so much to unpack from this episode because it feels like it was kind of it was all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, so there are big reveals, right? There are reveals. For it's to I think it's to help some of the there's a lot of explaining that needed to happen because it's a really confusing point. Like, who is the dragon? What does it mean that he is reborn? And then
Right.
so you saw the Lews Therin guy in the beginning. We're connecting to this individual. That's the only historical context. I mean, you got a little bit about the dragon all along fighting to save the world, but then we got to actually see him. So, that should make sense to folks. And then Rand is that person reborn, and he's called Lews Therin. So it just happens so quickly that you hope that non-show readers are able to kind of pick up on some of that stuff. I'm like, okay, he's calling him by a different name. Oh, that was that guy's name 3,000 years ago. That's right. He just saw him in a vision. So, that was cool. And then the dream sequence stuff was also really interesting, just to learn about like what is happening. What is he tempting Rand with? What was the Dark One tempting him with? Yeah.
Right. And yeah, and he showed him that he showed him that other life that we could see.
Yeah.
I do think Balsamon Shamael, as they're calling, the Dark One, that actor I thought did a great job. I think he's going to be very interesting going forward. And so
Hmm.
I do think that was pretty cool. I actually liked the scene of Rand being tempted. I thought that was done well, and then Rand sort of using the Sangreal to sort of blow him back. I actually kind of liked the look of the Eye of the World. I thought the way they did it was definitely kind of cool. We saw Min leaving
Hmm.
with a changed hairstyle,
Yeah.
which was kind
Yeah.
of cool. She foresaw all of these people's things. I will say another thing, the shock factor of like Nynaeve dying and then healing
Hmm.
Egwene. I think you could have done that in a different way to show Egwene. She could have just been. It was like, I don't know. It was just a lot because it was like her eyes were burned out just like everyone else's, and they really wanted to make you seem like she was dead. And because they already did that in episode 4, when like you think Moraine and everyone's dead, and then Nynaeve heals them, it felt to me a little weak because I felt like we already saw that
Hmm.
earlier this season. And if that's a thing going forward, like book or show comparisons aside, if you're just going to keep doing all these like big shock factor deaths and then immediately fixing it, it begins to lose its impact over time.
Yeah. And again, just so to remind folks who are just now coming into our live stream, we do love the season and we've enjoyed it. And
Oh,
I
I generally like season 1. I think I'm
yeah,
just kind of out on this episode.
right. And I'll say this, really not for me. I'm not out on this episode. I think I'm still just processing everything that happened because I was the whole way along, I was saying like, let's go. Like this is awesome. There was a great build up. The energy was there. All of that was hitting. I just thought Rand was going to do more and it was going to be more of I don't know, it was going to hit a little harder. And really, what hit was the women out there channeling and throwing their power around and burning out and kind of all of that. Potta and Fane coming in was also sort of like I think I knew he was coming, but
Right.
I'm still processing everything he did. He did what Perrin did or didn't
Right.
do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
This was a pretty jam-packed episode, to say the least. It's going to require a second watch, as well as now I can binge the whole season and I can sort of see it in that context of being able to see the whole thing as one season. I mean, definitely I'll say that season 2 is set up. There's a
mhm.
lot of threads, pun intended, right, that you can go on. season 2 won't be as impacted by COVID. The budget is probably larger, and I think now you can sort of begin the way, and we obviously don't have the Barney Harris Matt issue, because who
Yeah.
knows how much these last 2 episodes were supposed to be different.
Right. Right. Yeah. They could have been a
And then
lot different.
you're thrown a main character leaving,
Right.
and you have to fix this stuff with unlimited budget, not unlimited budget, but on unlimited sort of, you have to come back and do 2 episodes. You can't, like, go back, because they did the 6 and then had to come back and film the last 2. You can't sort of, like, go back and, like, well, we need to rewrite some stuff because he's not there. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So again, I can give it a little, I can sort of grade this episode on a scale, on a curve a little bit, but
Right.
still, that's still where I'm at. But again, I'm excited for season 2, and I think that I give most shows like a complete pass on season 1 on just about any show I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure.
and
Sure.
I've said this
It's
before, and I'll say it again. Go watch The Office season 1. Go watch The Office season 2. Night and day different. And The Office is one of the greatest shows in television. Even go watch Game of Thrones season 1. There's a
right.
lot of stuff in season 1 where it's like costuming and stuff looks kind of weird, and it gets
Right.
much better in season 2. We just watched The Witcher season 2.
Yeah. For sure.
Compared to season 1, The Witcher 2 makes, and I loved Witcher season 1, but Witcher season 2 makes Witcher season 1, it's so much better that, to me, it makes Witcher season 1 look like trash, and I loved season 1, and I think it's, like,
Right. Yeah.
great, but
Right.
it's just so much better.
Yeah.
So I think the same thing will happen here, where I think season 2 is going to be great. And for me, I feel like this was only, I loved the majority of season 1, so I still feel solid about the whole season.
Yeah, I do too, and I think you're right. There's a lot of big questions coming out of this. Like, we're gonna be making videos, and people are gonna be talking about it for a long time. Like, what really happened to Moraine? Is she still just shielded? Was she shielded, and then the Dark One was himself cut off from the power, and is that left over? Is that gone, or was she stilled? Is
Right.
Loyal alive, dead?
Where was Lan?
Um, like, what took Lan so long? No, I'm just what is the little secret that Nynaeve knows? Her, like, Moraine's tell, the tracking tell. Did she ever explain that? I don't know if she actually. It kind of cuts away, and then he just picks up on it, and we kind of go from there. I thought you'd think this would be funny though, Matt. So, remember when Rand tries in the books to heal the girl at
Yes,
Tyr?
with Kalendor,
Right.
right?
This comment
The
that's up on
dead
the
girl.
screen. Yeah, Egwene's new
Yeah.
power is that she can heal the dead. All right, Rand couldn't do that with Kalendor, but now Egwene can.
Yeah.
Kind of funny. So yeah, I don't know, but I'm still thrilled. I think I'm just processing all of it because it is
Right.
so
So I
different.
guess, what are your thoughts sort of on season 1 as a whole, I would say?
Yeah, as a whole, I think it's fantastic.
Now that we're through
Well,
one season.
let's go back to a point, and there'll be a thread here all the way back to episode 1. But what I saw in this episode with, like, Nynaeve and Lan, that relationship just keeps growing on me. That was even more. I thought,
Yes.
okay, we're not going to get more of that because it's the final episode. No, they continued on and developed those characters and their relationships, and it was everything it should be. So that was great. And that, if you watch that from episode 1 all the way through, it really lands, and they really do a good job. What was a bit abrupt was, again, it was the way they handled Rand, is that there was less, like he's there in the beginning. We understand he is connected with everyone else. They're pretty well balanced, I guess. And then as we go along, he sort of takes a back seat a little bit. There's subtle little references. I thought the last episode, when he's landing those arrows and he's doing his thing, he's the Dragon Reborn, I thought that was fantastic. So that was a high moment. The misleading us with who is the dragon, I thought that was fine for people who are
Right.
not,
That was fun. That was fun
yeah.
for a TV change. Yes.
Right, right. So I think I wish maybe that there was more kind of this Age of Legends loose there and trickled back a little bit, just more kind of understanding. But then again, maybe they confine it all to make it make sense. Like, it might have been little drops that maybe were not I don't know, felt disconnected or something, because they did kind of confine a lot of that loose there and explanation to this episode. And it makes sense. It's proximity. Just tie it right into the Eye of the World, and we're gonna see these guys who were there fighting him back in the day. That all kind of makes sense. So there are some things that I feel like, speaking of these threads, that tie the whole series together, that did work, that do land. I wanted more Loyal overall. Big Loyal fan here. Okay. Am concerned about him a little bit. And
There's
I
no way
thought
that
Moraine,
there's Loyal's going to be there.
Matt, I'm concerned because he's been stabbed.
I
Okay.
know.
So I mean, he's on the floor. I don't like seeing my boy on the floor. It's like when Land's throat was slit. I don't ever want to see that again. Was it an epic, awesome moment? And do I enjoy it in the TV series? Yes, I do. But I'm trying to think of like things that they showed us in this episode, just to bounce back to this episode real quick, things that happened in this episode that were not there in the books that were expanding the story, like Faldara. In the books, we follow Rand and the in company back to the Eye of the World. We don't really see the inner workings of Uno, the other lords, and how they defended Tarwin's Gap, and we get a little bit when Rand, travels there. So that was kind of cool to see the different lords and to see them working together, and to see Lady Amelise and everything that happened there. So
Loyal's dead.